Have you ever wondered why Chevrolet abandoned one of its most advanced engines, the fuel-injected 327 V8, right in the middle of the performance boom? In the world of American muscle cars, where roaring sound and brute horsepower often steal the spotlight, the Fuelie 327 proved that peak performance didn't always require massive displacement. It was the first small block engine to reach big block levels of output using the Rochester mechanical fuel injection system. That was a leap in technology for its time. And yet, by mid-1965, Chevrolet quietly pulled the plug on the Fuelie 327 and replaced it with cheaper and more powerful big block engines that were also heavier and bulkier. Why was something hailed as the future left behind so early in the past? In this video, we'll uncover the real reasons behind that controversial decision and explore why the Fuelie 327 is still remembered today as a forgotten gem of GM's small block legacy. Before there was the 327 Fuelie, there was a smaller, but no less legendary engine. The 283 Fuelie, short for the 283 cubic inch V8, equipped with Rochester mechanical fuel injection. In 1957, while most high-performance cars were still relying on carburetors, Chevrolet stepped off the beaten path and introduced fuel injection technology to its small block lineup. The result was an engine that produced 283 horsepower, exactly matching its displacement, achieving the milestone of 1 horsepower per cubic inch. That was a benchmark most cars of that era couldn't even dream of reaching. What made the 283 Fuelie special was that it wasn't limited to the Corvette. In its first year, it could be ordered across all Chevrolet car lines. But over time, market demand and maintenance complexity narrowed its reach, and by 1960, only the Corvette retained the fuel injection option. By the end of the 1961 model year, the 283 Fuelie was officially discontinued. But its journey wasn't over. It was just the beginning of a new chapter. What the 283 Fuelie accomplished laid the foundation for Chevrolet to develop an even more powerful version. In 1962, the 327 cubic inch V8 with Rochester mechanical fuel injection debuted under the option code RPO 582. This wasn't just an upgrade, it was a leap forward. It delivered 360 horsepower and 352 p-tom-fort. Staggering numbers for a small block engine of that era. It became the most powerful engine ever offered in a Corvette up to that point. And it wasn't just about raw power. The 327 Fuelie had lightning-fast throttle response and maintained its strength at high RPMs better than most carbureted rivals. In 1963, Chevrolet introduced an all-new Corvette generation, the legendary Stingray, and the 327 Fuelie continued to appear on the option list, with the same specs but a new RPO code, now designated as L84. That was in 1964, when Chevrolet made slight refinements to the system, boosting output to 375 horsepower and 350 lp-tom of torque. These figures officially made the L84 the most powerful small block engine ever installed in a Corvette up to that point. At this moment, the Rochester mechanical fuel injection system had reached its peak. The L84 was not only powerful on paper, it delivered lightning-fast throttle response and exceptional high RPM stability. A Corvette equipped with the L84 became the choice for enthusiasts who valued refined performance, not just raw numbers, but a pure and connected driving experience. However, this peak was short-lived. By mid-1965, Chevrolet decided to remove the L84 from the option list. In its place came a new contender, the 396 Big Block V8, which was cheaper to produce and offered even more horsepower. From a technical standpoint, the L84 Fuelie was a masterpiece, but from a business perspective, it was an inefficient equation. In 1965, if you wanted to equip your Corvette with the L84, you had to pay an extra $538. Compared to the 327 four-barrel carbureted version with 365 horsepower, which cost only $129, the $400 difference for just 10 more horsepower was a hard sell for the average buyer. On top of that, Chevrolet had just introduced a game-changer, the 396 Big Block V8. For only $293, customers could get a powerhouse that delivered 425 horsepower and 415 pound-feet of torque. It was cheaper than the L84, significantly stronger, and did not require a complex fuel injection system. In a market obsessed with raw power, the economic logic was clear. Big blocks were easier to produce, cheaper to build, offered more torque, and were much easier to maintain. Meanwhile, the L84 Fuelie, though refined and advanced, was seen as expensive, finicky, and rare. When customers could get more performance for less money, the Fuelie quickly became a luxury. And in the real world, luxuries that do not generate profit are often the first to be eliminated. In the same year the Fuelie was dropped, the 396 cubic inch V8 made its debut, offering 425 horsepower and 415 pound-feet of torque. These figures impressed even the most die-hard fuel injection fans. Not long after, the 427 V8 arrived and pushed the limits of performance even further. Unlike the finely tuned Fuelie 327 that required precision to reach its full potential, the 396 and 427 delivered instant power without relying on complex fuel injection systems. They were straightforward, powerful, and most importantly, cost-effective to produce at scale. For American buyers at the time, the choice became obvious. With lower cost, more torque, and a more explosive driving feel, big blocks quickly took over the market. Corvette, Chevelle, Impala, and Camaro all offered big block options, and they were celebrated as icons of American muscle. Even though it was replaced by larger big block engines, the 327 Fuelie never lagged behind when it came to real-world performance. On the drag strip, or during independent tests, the Fuelie consistently proved that power was about more than just displacement numbers. Motor Trend once tested a 1964 Corvette equipped with the L84 engine and recorded a quarter-mile time of 14.2 seconds. Meanwhile, Road and Track tested a 1965 Corvette with the 396 engine and achieved 14.1 seconds. The difference was nearly negligible, even though the 396 had significantly more torque and displacement. More impressively, legendary racer Mickey Thompson once drove a bone-stock 1962 Fuelie Corvette and ran the quarter mile in 13.89 seconds. Why does this matter? Because it shows that under optimal conditions and with the right driver, the Fuelie could go head-to-head with and even beat early big block powerhouses. While it lacked the brute low-end torque of the 396 or 427, the 327 Fuelie excelled in maintaining high RPM power, offering sharp throttle response and superior control. That's what made it the ideal machine for those who craved a true driving experience, not just straight-line speed. But with that level of performance came a technical system that exceeded the capabilities of many mechanics at the time. The Rochester mechanical fuel injection system on the 327 Fuelie was carefully engineered by General Motors, and considered highly advanced and reliable. But unlike a simple carburetor that could be tuned with a screwdriver and seat-of-the-pants know-how, the Fuelie required deep understanding of fuel pressure, linear mixture control, and intricate mechanical regulators. This was unfamiliar territory for most general mechanics. Many independent shops, especially in rural areas or non-dealer locations, lacked the training to properly service the system. When issues arose, the quick fix was often to rip out the entire fuel injection unit and install a familiar 4-barrel carburetor. As a result, countless 1957 to 1965 Corvettes lost their original Fuelie setups. Only a select few, maintained at Chevrolet dealerships by trained technicians, preserved their factory fuel injection intact. By 1965, Chevrolet believed that the future of the Corvette was in big block engines. They were large in displacement, powerful, cheap to produce, and easy to build in volume. But looking back half a century later, that decision proved to be a major strategic misstep. Big blocks dominated the Corvette lineup until the end of the 1974 model year. After that, the car gradually shifted back towards small block V8s, and for good reason. They were lighter, better balanced, and delivered a more agile driving experience thanks to improved front to rear weight distribution. Had Chevrolet continued developing fuel injection technology for small block platforms, they might have been better positioned for the 1970s fuel crisis. At a time when fuel economy became a critical concern, the Fuelie system could have helped Corvette retain its performance image without becoming a gas guzzler. The reality is that Corvette did not return to fuel injection until 1982, nearly 20 years after the original Fuelie was discontinued. The cancellation of the 327 Fuelie was not just the end of an engine, it was the loss of a golden opportunity for Chevrolet to reshape the future of high-performance, fuel-efficient, and technologically forward cars. During its brief life from 1962 to mid-1965, the Fuelie 327 redefined the concept of a high-performance small block. With 375 horsepower, 350 pound-foot of torque, and strong high RPM output, it not only competed toe-to-toe with newly introduced big blocks, but also helped make the Corvette one of the fastest cars in the world at that time. Today, original L84 Fuelie-equipped Corvettes are highly prized collector's items. Finding one with a fully intact and functioning fuel injection system is considered a rarity, which only increases the historical significance of the engine. More than numbers or speed, the Fuelie 327 represents forward thinking. It proved that GM once dared to lead the industry by applying advanced technology when most others chose the safer path. Though it existed for only a few short years, the Fuelie 327 left behind a lasting legacy. It marked the beginning of the fuel-injected era and stood as a pioneering voice in the world of high-performance V8s. And for true enthusiasts, it remains a glorious chapter in the history of Chevrolet. The 327 Fuelie is one of the clearest examples of how advanced technology is sometimes not recognized at the right moment. It did not fail because it was weak, but because it arrived too early in a market that was not yet ready. Today, with fuel injection having become the global standard, we can better appreciate the forward-thinking nature of the Fuelie. It served as a bridge between the pure mechanical era and the precise electronic age we now live in. If you have ever heard the roar of an original Fuelie-equipped Corvette, or if you are lucky enough to own one, you will understand why this engine is so beloved. Share your thoughts and memories in the comments below about your experience with this legendary small block. And if you enjoy stories about classic automotive engineering, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new upload. Thank you for joining us on this journey to rediscover a forgotten legend.